This technique I'm going to show you is very helpful whenever you work a border around something, or whenever you're working only on the right side, like when you work with certain mosaic crochet techniques, and also when you change colors, or simply when you run out of yarn and you're starting a new ball of yarn. So when we want to hide an end at the beginning of a row, I insert my hook, attach my yarn, chain 1 for a single crochet row, and then as I work, I want to hide this end in my working stitches. So I will keep it close to the bottom stitch and simply work it inside my stitch as if it was another loop from the stitch. Alright, so it's on top of my stitch inside my new stitch. So I will work this for maybe 6 or 7 stitches, just so that it stays inside as much as possible. Okay, and then it's inside the stitch. I can pull on it a little bit to make sure it's tight. Then I can continue working as normal. At the end of this row, I have an end that I also want to weave. So in order to do that, I'm going to pull it in and do the same thing, about 6 or 7 stitches from the end. Keep it on top of my working yarn, insert my hook, and then wrap it inside that stitch. Alright, and continue like that, wrapping it inside the stitch until the end of the row. Okay, and I can pull it a little bit to make sure it doesn't escape. So this is my wrong side row and this is my right side. Now let's imagine that I have ran out of yarn and I need to attach a new ball of yarn, or maybe a color change could work with as well. So here my yarn is finished, so I need a new ball of yarn. So I'm going to use yellow so you can see the change easier. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert my hook into the stitch, and I'm going to start this stitch with my old yarn, and then I'm going to use both. So this is my live yarn, and I'm going to use both of them to pass through the stitch. Now at the back I have my new end over here and 2 colors on my hook, or 2 strands. Now I'm going to pull these and pull only my new one down there. So you can see how the old strand stays loose. Now I can pull it out, and this one is just going to stay there hanging until the next row where I can hide it, and my new strand that was at the back, I can hide it now in my next stitches. So I go in through the stitch and hug it inside, just like before. Okay, for a few stitches. Depending on what stitch you're working, what kind of material, you can go for 10 stitches, you can go for 3. And you know, I like to keep my ends always on the back of my work. So this will be the back of my work. And I finish my row. There you go. Now this end that is hanging here from when I cut my yarn, now this one I can hide it on the way back on my new row, and it will disappear as well. Alright, I hope this technique was useful and that it works for your crochet. Happy crocheting!